So I'm just gonna talk, I guess. I'm here to tell you guys how I got into dance and like where I am now. TJ, stop playing with my paintbrushes. It started in 2012 when I found Kpop. Basically, I was a very impatient kid on YouTube and I was just like click, 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 because my screen just like stopped loading. And then what popped up was Girls' Generation's Oh performance. And I was like, colorful, dancing, no idea what they're saying. But it was so cool. So I also watched their G performance and I showed it to my cousin. And she was like, that's not that great, that's not that exciting, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of just let it go and moved on with whatever I was listening to at the time. So then she came back to me like a few months later, I guess, and she was like, hey, surprise, this is a group called Beast. And I was like, there's more? And then from Beast became Shiny, and then I found this group. They weren't like an actual group, they were like I guess a cover group, and they mixed and matched different songs into one performance, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot to take in. There's like 5 of them doing like 6 different songs. Obviously there was like cuts and whatever, but they were so cool. I was like, I want to do that. So we had coffee houses and like talent shows and stuff at my high school. So I was like, I'm gonna dance. My first performance was FX's La Chata, and I wore like baggy sweatpants and like a green sweater with like a shirt underneath because it was a Catholic high school and you can't wear anything sexy. So I wore a shirt underneath this sweater, and it was grade 8. So I was like really nervous because it was my first time in this high school and I'm dancing to this thing that no one knows about. And there's one move, if you know La Chata, where they're like doing this with their shirts, and you never saw anything, and I had a tank top on underneath, and people were saying that it was too sexy and like too sexual, and I was like, so yeah, that was the first actual performance that I did. In grade 9 was when I started doing mashups of stuff, and yeah, so it was like 2013 I started my YouTube channel. So it's been 7 years. And the first thing that I did when I made my YouTube channel was copy and paste. And that to me was like a really difficult choreography. It took me forever to learn it. I never actually had any real dance training. So yeah, and then in high school I did my final performance, and I got a little bit excited about it. And I toyed with the whole sexy concept, but I made it seem innocent. Boy groups were like intense. They were hard. Like BTS was coming out with like I Need You and Danger and stuff, and they were hard for me to learn because I didn't have a mirror. I would set up my laptop and hook it up to like the TV in the basement and HDMI port into it, and I would just record myself because for some reason the camera wouldn't stay on unless you were filming. So I would have to film me so that I could see myself on the computer on this TV. And then the other side of the screen was the mirrored version of the dance. So I never really knew how I looked, So when I would film for like my YouTube channel, either I would just do it in one take and hope that it looked okay, which was the majority of the beginning of my stuff. But as I would keep going, I would film like on my phone because I had like iPhones, and yeah, I would just film like a bunch of times and watch it, and then film a bunch more times and watch it. So I really didn't have any sort of cleaning help. It was just me, and yeah. And then I went to college, and there were no coffee houses, and there were no performance opportunities. So I didn't dance a whole lot of K-pop. I was still very into the music. I think in college, like Day 6 debuted, and like there was some good, like Still Night Muses was putting stuff out. CLC were starting to get really big as 5, I think. I don't think they had added the other members yet. Minx were still really cool. You guys will probably not know them as Dreamcatcher. They were Minx. That's again a whole other story. So yeah, so that stuff was coming out. I filmed one dance in college, which was BTS's Run. I had my friend film it for me on my old iPod. My college career was only like a year. I did dental assisting, and it was only a year. So when I came home in July, I came home in June, I did a placement in July, so I lived in Ottawa with my aunt and my uncle. I started working like that September, and again, not a lot of dance opportunities. I wasn't really learning stuff. If I was, it was really sporadic. So there's like a part of my YouTube channel where there's like nothing for like 10 to 12 months, I think. Yeah, so I didn't really do a whole lot. I was still very into the K-pop. I wasn't dancing a whole lot because the choreographies were literally just getting more and more difficult, and I had no motivation. I was working, I was paying off my student loans, I bought a car, life happened. Stuff started to change. My parents were gonna get ready to move out of the house that I grew up in, that I was still living with them in. Oh wait, no, let's rewind. I forgot something. I think, was it the summer after I graduated college, so I was still, I was still 18. I drove down to New York for the first time. That was actually the first time I took any kind of like dance workshop. I tried to learn Not Today by BTS on my own, so that when I got there, all I had to learn was the ending, and then I would have the full thing. We actually filmed it. That's on my YouTube as well. And I also did Chungha's roller coaster, and we did this thing called Diet Dance. That was really cool. That was the first time I actually did any kind of dance training. And then the second time I went down, we did the same thing. We learned 101's Beautiful. So we only learned the beginning of that, but it is intense. It's really difficult. Yeah. So I've been looking for apartments in Ottawa, which is where I am now, and I looked at 2 really crappy apartments. They say 3rd time's the charm, and that's exactly what it was, because I was still working in Empire when I saw on Instagram that Salja was having auditions, and I was sick that day, and that sucked because I so badly wanted to go, but I was home sick, and that sucked. The second time I saw their auditions, the first one was in October, I guess. It was in the late fall. And then the second time I saw it, it was again like a surprise. They were like, hey, today's Wednesday, but there's auditions on Saturday. And I was like, what? No preparation. And I had a friend that was supposed to come over and visit on Saturday, and I begged her, I was like, are you okay if we go to this audition? Because I'm like, really wanna go. And she was so sweet enough that we went, and I took the workshops there. There was a time before that. Oh my god, 2 years before that. There's a Canadian collective workshop in Ottawa. And I went because there was a K-pop class and there was like a heels class and like beginner hip hop and like all this stuff. So I took a class then, and when I got to auditions for Salja, one of the girls that was running it, Laura, was like, hey, you were the girl with blue hair 2 years ago. And I was like, you remember me? It was like a starstruck, like, oh my god moment of like, you know me? It blew my mind. Because at the time, I've always had some sort of blue hair. And like bangs and stuff. So when I went to the workshop, I had like long blue hair with bangs, and then when I went to the Salja auditions, I had brown hair and it was kind of short. But the fact that she recognized me, I was like, ah! And then it turns out my friend knew one of the girls that was already a member of Salja. She came over, and I'm just like getting my heels on to start with the first class, and she was like, oh, are you auditioning? And I was like, yeah. And then my friend was like, yeah, she has a YouTube channel. And like, she subscribed to me right there. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, if I don't get into Salja after all this. But yeah, we did Boys Women as our girl dance. And then Chris taught EXO's Ooh La 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 for the boy dance, and that was kind of difficult. It was very technical at the time, so my brain didn't like absorb all of it. But yeah, and then it was, I think, a week later, I got a message saying that I made it into the next round, which was like, it was amazing. I was so excited. And the next stage was interviews. So we were gonna join the workshop that was happening that Saturday and then have interviews after. I think that was, yeah, that was like beginning of March. And then we had the workshop, and then we had our interviews. So a few of us were like standing around waiting for our interviews. So we started chatting, and everyone spoke French except for me. Well, I mean, I speak French, I understand it better than I speak it. So they're all talking in French, and I'm answering in English. And like, we're all getting to know each other. So like, there was Shanna and Camille and Chloe, and I think Emily was there as well. So we had our interviews, and by that point, I had already seen like this apartment that I'm in right now. And I was waiting on an answer as to whether I got it or not. I sent in my application already. And if I had got this apartment, which I did, I'm only 5 minutes from campus where we practice. So instead of an hour-and-a-half drive from my tiny little town to almost downtown Ottawa, so I was waiting on that reply, and I would be waiting on the Salja reply. And on the same day, I found out that I got both, that I was in Salja and that I got my apartment. It's exciting. It was the best day ever. I screamed. Like, I'd been dancing at that point for like 8 years, 6 years. It's only been 8 years. I've been dancing for like 6 years by myself at that point, so, or more than 6. Math? Anyway, I've been dancing alone since the beginning, and now I was on a team that actually did covers and competed and had friends. Yeah. So then we started practicing for our debut cover, which was Stray Kids' Elevator. I had no idea who Stray Kids was. I had maybe heard Elevator once, and it was 7 of us. And I was like, whoa, first cover ever and we're 7 of us? I was kind of worried because I'd never done like formations or positioning or transitions and all that kind of stuff, and I never had like mirrors in front of me when I danced. And then when we filmed, It was a disgusting day. It was rainy and we filmed at like 9 o'clock at night. It was a long day and I was glad to sleep in the next day, but it turned out really well and we all bonded, and that was the first time I wore makeup to dance. It's not a great experience in my opinion. We were already starting to practice for our May competition, and there were, I think was there 6 of us? Yeah. Wait. 5 of us. My brain is not. Okay. Well, there were 7 of us in the elevator and 2 were already members. Math. It happened, but just not for the newer members. That's a whole thing. But we made posters and we supported everybody, and that was actually the first time that Kimmy and I actually hung out by ourselves. Slightly awkward at first because she was just at my apartment and she was drawing and I was baking cookies, and we didn't really have anything to talk about yet. Like, we didn't talk a lot in elevator. I feel like we all just kind of got there, we practiced, there was a lot to focus on. We were asking about nostalgia a lot. We didn't bond as much as I thought we did right away. We decided to prepare for the July competition, which is when Undercover came out. We did a performance in Montreal at the Kpop convention, and that was the first time we actually performed together. It was a huge deal. There were felt like so many people there. It was so loud. We almost didn't hear the music to start. And it was just like an amazing experience. It was the first road trip we took together, the first time we all stayed together, even though we stayed like French line and English line. We filmed Undercover in like the middle of the summer. It was hot. I was so sick. I was not good. We have done a lot of filming, and the first thing that they teach you, not they teach you, but they instruct you to do is facials. So you need to lip sync, you need to look at the camera, and you need to be aware of what your face is doing. That was all new to me. Because when I started my stuff, I would lip sync because I liked the song. But then when I started doing Coffee House and performances, they were like, it's not your song, don't sing it. So I had to be more comfortable in showing like facial expression instead of like singing. So when it came down to it, and my part in Elevator was a rap, and I was like, oh no. So I studied so hard for it. I memorized my lyrics. Even now, like, you're shy. At least I'm still shy when I look at the camera, but when you're actually filming, it's a bit more comfortable, I guess, because you're confident in what you're doing. You're not like trying to talk, this is something I'm not very good at, is the whole talking thing. And now we're here. It's been a year now that I've been in Salsa, that the girls have been in my life, and I'm so thankful because they've each taught me so much, and we're all growing together and we love spending time together. I have people that actually enjoy the same things that I do, people that actually want to hang out with me and want to go do stuff, and they want to dance and go out to eat and enjoy, you know, being together. So I love that, and I love you guys. I love all of you guys. But now we're all being told to stay at home and not do anything, and I feel like that's really affecting us, because we all are so used to, whether it's the 5 of us, 7 of us, 8 of us, whatever, we're all used to being around each other, and now that we can't, it sucks. Another thing, there are a lot of, what is say a lot, but there are a few other dance groups in Ottawa. Pretty much everybody is friends with each other. So like we do competitions or we do galas and everyone knows everyone and it's so much fun and it's this huge community and everyone is so supportive and so excited about seeing each other. And yeah, you're competing against each other, or yeah, you know, you're traveling and you're staying with other people and blah blah blah, but we're all really, it's like a really huge family. You have it's like your extended family, because you have your family, your group that you belong to, and everybody else is just an extension of that family. You're all doing the same stuff, you all love the same things, you all stand the same people, and it's just really nice. And if I looked at myself now from 2013 and saw myself doing like Ice Age, I would be like, how did you do that? Because that by far is the most difficult choreography that I've done. That next to, I want to say Undercover, because the floor work is kind of difficult. Just seeing the amount of, you know, work that we put into it and how far I've grown from doing mostly girl group dances because I'm nervous to learn anything more difficult, to now I'm mostly doing the guy dances and I'm kind of shying away from girl dances because they're a little bit more on the sexy side and not really into that right now. It's just been like a crazy journey. It's been amazing and I just hope that we keep growing and hopefully do some more, maybe not sexy, but like girl group dances, because duality is a thing. I just hope that we continue to dance in the future and that we can all actually be together in the future. It's really weird dancing by yourself now. Once you get so used to dancing with other people and then you kind of go back to what you were doing before, it's lonely and it's sad, but it just makes you really appreciate everybody that you have now. So I have never had so many great memories. Like having all these extremely energetic girls screaming at the top of their lungs in my car on the way to Montreal or just anywhere, going to filming, anything. There's never a dull moment when you have these girls around you, and it's so awesome because it's finally somebody that radiates the same energy as me, and I don't know, I'm just so thankful that I was able to join what I did and that everything lined up, that I'm here in Ottawa, that I'm so close to where we practice, and that I'm so close, like I'm right in the middle of everybody. So I'm the one that hosts sleepovers the majority of the time before filming, and I just hope that we get more time this summer if we can to spend time with everybody and, I don't know, go out in the middle of the woods and see, you know, who survives. But and just go and do more bonding rather than just practicing and dancing. Even though we are way past due for an actual practice, here's to us. Love you guys.